Welcome, everyone. We're ready to go snow crossing once again with WSA Worldwide Snowcross. This is the 2000 Yamaha Eastern National from Vernon Downs in Vernon, New York, about a half hour southeast of Syracuse. The weather here today is cold at 31 degrees in our Lenco weather report. The wind's very, very light, and there is a chance of snow. Well, you saw him at Winter X, but you will not see him compete here because Tucker Hibbert is not old enough at age 15 to hold a pro license. The crowd, though, will watch him race in the amateur ranks, and we are only waiting for that great day when he shows up in the pros.
Well, you got to believe that's going to happen pretty quick. We're now ready for our Pro Stock Last Chance qualifier. Even though he's not racing, Tucker's helping pack a launch pad for Dad.
So the Last Chance qualifier for Pro Stock 4 will transfer to the second row in the final. On the far left of the line, as you look at it, is Carl Shabitsky.
To the far right is Kirk Hibbert, and you can see the track a little narrow here as we're starting this large group. As you said, 4 go to the final. There's the green.
They're the first set of moguls, the first big jump coming, and Shabitsky is the first to clear it. Oh, Kirk Hibbert! Captain Kirk in trouble as he gets off the side of the course.
Watch what happens here. As I said, it's narrow, and he launches, gets it rotated, and hooks that outside ski just off the lip. Can't save it. The sled pitches over and throws him down into the infield. He's okay, but he's done as far as Pro Stock's concerned today.
And of course, son Tucker is saying, oh, come on, Dad, got to get it past the first couple of turns.
Well, that's the problem with a narrow track and a tight squeeze on the start line. Meanwhile, Carl Shabitsky, Paul, has quickly gone to the front, and Todd Wolf, good run into second.
Carl Kuster, 47C, he drops into third place. Those are the top 3 as they work the first lap of this, the Pro Stock Last Chance qualifier.
Very crucial for Todd Wolf in this one. After his win at Canterbury, he's right in the points position battle in Pro Stock. He's got to get to the final if he wants to stay in the hunt.
Wolf in second, Kuster in third, and then the rest of the pack. Kuster's really going to have to work hard to keep everybody off of his back.
Wolf pressuring Shabitsky as well, but you're right, Kurt Crapo sits in fourth and has closed up a little bit on Carl Kuster. He's got to really stay focused here.
Shabitsky, that bright yellow sled. Behind him, Todd Wolf, the black sled, and then Carl Kuster, number 47, carrying the green.
Look at the tremendous air they're carrying over that back straight jump. That is a
oh, look at that! As Kuster just screams past Wolf. Wolf got a little off to the right side, and Kuster goes screaming into second place.
Yeah, Wolf bicycled his skidoo just a little bit, got it up on that one ski, and then hooked a rut, and he had to back off to save it. And Kuster's not going to waste any opportunity, whacking it right by.
Todd Wolf's doing everything he can to come back at him. Look at the air that Shabitsky gets. Now Kuster, who stays fairly low, then Todd Wolf, then Crapo.
Crapo feeling a little heat from his teammate Brett Hyde in another of the red Polarises. A little bit further back in the fray, but Wolf not exactly letting Kuster check out, is he? He's really applying some pressure.
Now Todd Wolf is right there working on Carl Kuster, following him through the same line through this section.
It's an interesting study out of this corner. You watch Shabitsky going for the big air. It's smoother, it's faster, but you've got to be brave to take that run. We saw Kuster tiptoe through the slower rough stuff, but I think he's gone back to it because Wolf continues to apply pressure just like that.
Todd Wolf right there once again, and they're almost even as they come over the jump. Todd Wolf comes up to the inside. They lean on one another. Kuster and Wolf side by side. Wolf tries to get him. Kuster maintains second.
That was a classic case of that outside line being a little bit faster at the exit of the turn. Wolf got pinched down, had to get out of it. Kuster able to hang on. Watch Carl. He's going to the slower, choppy run. Look at the air for Wolf. He lands it with better momentum. It closes right back up again.
Coming to the checkered flag, Carl Shabitsky takes it. And that battle continued right down to the line, but Kuster had Todd Wolf at the line. And Greg Hyde was able to nip Curtis Crapo as they came to the line as well. What a great finish in this Pro Stock Last Chance qualifier.
A couple of big moments in this race. Right here, watch the black skidoo right there of Wolf. He hooks that berm bicycles up onto the ski, has to get off the throttle. Kuster's straight line acceleration just blows right by him. That was a great pass by Kuster. However, Todd Wolf fights back going into the first turn after the start-finish line. He's inside. There's a big jump right here, and right here you can see Wolf's skis cocked over a lot harder, and that gives better exit speed to Kuster. He sweeps around the outside and holds onto the lead, but it's not done yet, Paul. This last turn, Kuster out wide. Wolf goes for that straight line blast, goes to throttle, and as they come up to the start-finish line, Wolf has the better speed, but Kuster just enough of a lead when they get to the line to hang on to second. Great race.
And a super finish as well. So advancing from Pro Stock Last Chance Qualifier to the final, Shabitsky, Kuster, Todd Wolf, and Greg Hyde. Snocross on ESPN Speed World is brought to you by Featherlight Trailers, the official trailer of the World Snowmobile Association, and by Ford Trucks, built Ford tough. Ready then for the Pro Stock final as we look at the blue and white, the colors of Finland for the Flying Finn, Tony Heikkinen.
Of course, the gentleman, he's got some experience racing against Chris Vincent. This very important for Chris, Paul. He's at home in the Eastern Seaboard.
Riding number 25 is Dennis Ekstrom, who has had a great season so far.
Same can't be said for Noel Kohansky coming off an injury. However, Noel is still very fast.
What about the great rookie on 44, TJ Gula?
Next to TJ, one of the veterans, Aaron Scheel out of Minnesota.
And on number 28, Justin Tate is ready to run in his Pro Stock final. We'll show you the entire lineup for the Pro Stock final as they're ready on the line.
Just had a good look there at the back row. Boy, that's tough duty to come up through the back, but we are ready for the start.
Keep an eye, as always, on Blair Morgan. Into the first jump. Morgan makes his appearance. Morgan moves to the outside, but we have at least two riders off. Morgan moves to the outside, takes the lead.
That is 28, Justin Tate. You can see he's coming up a little tender, Paul. That was a rough off, but once you get down off of that track to the infield, that's hard path down there.
Justin Tate gets the motor fired, gets back into the action as the rest of the field goes away. Led by, oh, what a surprise, 7C Blair Morgan. Here's the first jump. Look at Morgan on the far left.
Good start by Morgan, but look right down the center. The young rookie, 44, TJ Gula. And in the background, you can see Tate, as he did almost the same thing that Kirk Hibbert did. Got squeezed, landed, and slipped down the side of that big double.
You're right, almost exactly the same thing.
A little bit further back in the pack, a great battle underway right now. That's 46 Vincent. Oh, and Ekstrom goes off.
Dennis Ekstrom, who's been so consistent this year. There's Heikkinen.
Watch for it right here. You see Vincent coming down the inside. There's Ekstrom. A little bit of a bump right there. Vincent able to hang on to it. Now, watch right here. It's a little bit different angle. Vincent's got the inside. Ekstrom turns in. They bump, and Ekstrom just can't quite hold on. That outside lip is so soft and fluffy, it falls away, as does Dennis.
Heikkinen was right in there and had to really jam on the brakes to get it stopped and not get involved in the middle of that.
He and Vincent now are at war. Heikkinen closing up, as you said, very quickly on Vincent. Vincent landed a little awkwardly there. Heikkinen not quite close enough.
Heikkinen came back, tried to take advantage of it, but Vincent maintained his position.
Watch Morgan here, though, as he's coming up to those side-by-sides, and he's opting not to go big right now. Right after they groom, you get into a rhythm, and it's double, double, double. It's shallow doubles, but it's pretty quick. It's when the track gets chewed up, that moving to the right and going big and clearing all that stuff. Right there, you saw one of the racers opting to go big over the big finish line jump. That will soon become the fast line on that back straight as well.
Chris Vincent still being chased by Tony Heikkinen. Heikkinen again takes a look at the inside, tries to jam down inside of Chris Vincent. Doesn't, gets past him for the moment. Vincent comes right back at him.
What a series of punch and counter punch moves. That was beautiful racing by two of the real veterans of the sport. And you can see right here, they still are not opting to go for that big air over the backside. And as a result, the two of them racing incredibly close together right now.
And as we look back at the front, TJ Gula is now closing on Blair Morgan. So a battle all through the first four.
What a race, TJ Gula, his first full season as a pro.
Oh, here's Heikkinen, and he tries Vincent again. Same maneuver. They come off the corner side by side. Vincent gets him again.
Some great counter moves by those two, and TJ Gula's race, putting the pressure on Morgan right here, is phenomenal. TJ Gula, the rookie, and he makes a move. He ducks underneath Morgan, Paul.
And at the halfway point, TJ Gula picks up the lead from Blair Morgan. Look at Vincent and Heikkinen. They land hitting one another, and it's Vincent that's thrown off course. Heikkinen moves solidly into third.
They went up over that big double in midair. They collided. Watch it here. This is in the last turn, and they're battling, and there you can see Heikkinen slid down underneath, a little bit of a paint swapping. Then Vincent counters. Now Vincent a lap later comes up, actually clipped his arm right there with the ski as he tried to squeeze underneath. Now watch as they come up to the big double here. Actually, they're coming into the final turn. Bang! Hammer into each other right here. Now it's not done yet as they come up to the big double at the finish line. Hit the jump right here, Paul. You can see they both rotate a little bit. As they land, Vincent actually lands on Tony's hood. Boom! And it squirts him off to the side. And before he can gather it up, he's off the track.
And we'll have to take a good look at Tony Heikkinen's left elbow, because that ski looks like it got into him pretty good during that one encounter. But what a terrific fight. Here is TJ Gula, followed now by Blair Morgan, and Tony Heikkinen sits in third. This is the Pro Stock Final, and action will continue from here just southeast of Syracuse right after this. We're back. WSA Worldwide Snocross. TJ Gula has managed to take the lead away from Blair Morgan. Morgan is now under a very serious attack by the 06 sled of Tony Heikkinen.
Heikkinen is applying immense pressure, and I think maybe when TJ got around and passed Blair, he's not used to that. May have thrown off his momentum, his concentration a little bit, and now that's allowing Tony Heikkinen to take a very serious run at Blair Morgan.
Battle for second breaks off for the moment. You saw TJ Gula, then Blair Morgan. You're looking at Blair Morgan and Tony Heikkinen as they continue their battle. There is TJ, and here that fight continues.
Heikkinen has wedged himself along the inside, and that might be enough. Oh, but he almost went over, Paul.
Heikkinen tries to get control of the sled again, does that, but he rolls off to the left just long enough for Blair Morgan to maintain his position.
Now they come through that kink, and they are still all opting to go for that lower, slower line because they don't need to go big over those big doubles right now. The track is not roughed up enough, but white flag coming out. Heikkinen's got one more shot at it.
So Heikkinen, in pursuit of Blair Morgan, goes to the air, down into the first corner now. The battle is for second place. TJ Gula is pulling away in the lead. You get a glimpse of him there. Heikkinen comes up to work on the back of Blair Morgan.
This battle for second is just what Gula wanted. It gives him pretty clear sailing. There he is, but look at Heikkinen, Paul. He's back and all over Morgan.
Heikkinen continues to work him. Morgan, the low line into the corner. Heikkinen comes up high, tries to cut inside of Blair Morgan. They come into a drag race as they head for the finish line. TJ Gula wins it. Heikkinen gets around Morgan for second. Morgan has to settle for third.
Did you see Heikkinen look back at the crowd? He is jazzed, he's pumped. But TJ Gula, what an immense win. Congratulations from his teammate, Chris Vincent.
As Chris Vincent, with his off, is well back in the field. Fourth place was Carl Shabitsky, and Vincent finished in fifth.
Right there, you saw Morgan look back, and I think he realized, uh-oh, that time Heikkinen got the drive out of that turn. Nothing Morgan could do about it. And Tony Heikkinen takes second, and a huge move over the finish line.
What a beautiful run right to the finish. Heikkinen stretches out, looks back, sees Blair Morgan is really not a challenger. And TJ Gula, number 44, the young rookie, has taken the win here, and he is incredibly excited about that. Congratulations to TJ Gula. Now let's go to Greg Kramer.
got to ask you the first question. In your first season as a pro, did you ever anticipate this level of success?
No, I absolutely didn't. I expected to just come out and just do my best, make a few mains, finish in the top 5, but I never expected to come out and win like I did. I got a good start, and I just went with it from there. I was staying with Blair, and then all of a sudden I just got this urge to want to win, and I was just hungry. My Skidoo 440 got out of the hole just like a rocket ship. I got a good start, and that's all I needed, I guess.
Getting that bronze at the Winter X Games against that level of competition, did that give you that boost to know I can do this?
Yeah, definitely. I almost didn't make it to the main event because of sled problems, but once again, I pulled through and made it to the main, and I got a good start again behind Tucker, and Blair got by me in that one, but that gave me a big boost of confidence for the race today. Just went with it from there.
We're racing here in New York. That's not far from Vermont. Everybody here kind of considers you to be home crowd favorite. They're showing it. You love it, don't you?
Yeah, I live only like 4 hours from here. It's good to be back on the East Coast and give these guys a good show.
A lot of fans over here to congratulate TJ Gula, the Pro Stock Final winner. When we come back, Inside Cross. Welcome back to the WSA Yamaha Eastern Nationals from Vernon Downs in Vernon, New York. I'll show you some of the highlights of Pro Open qualifying. This is heat 1 of round 1.
And you saw Todd Wolf go huge over the side-by-sides, and it gave him such down-ramp speed that he actually got into Dennis Extra. We move now to round 1, heat 2.
Tony Heikkinen and Chris Vincent battling here. Heikkinen on the far right of your screen. Here comes Vincent. Vincent dumps it.
He and Heikkinen got together and washed out the lower ski on Vincent's sled and tipped into the inside, and down he went. Now, watch this here as TJ Gula, what a tear he's on, gets a hole shot in this one, Paul, and starts to open up a bit of a lead. Now, we're in round 1, heat 3, but Todd Wolf was absolutely flying. Now, watch what happens here. Gula goes to the left over that slower, choppier lower line. Wolf airs it out. Now, remember what he did to Exton when he had such exit speed? Right there, he knew it would work, was right around Gula, took the win in that heat.
So the qualifying had more than its full share of excitement. This is round 2, heat 4, as Blair Morgan is outpulled by Justin Tate on the inside, but then look at Morgan as he swept into the first corner, around everybody and took the lead. Round 3, heat 2, TJ Gula and Blair Morgan battle it out. Gula on 44 on the near side, Blair Morgan down to the inside line, takes the lead.
And then Gula, using that outside line, we've seen it before, sweeps around a little bit better exit speed and moves to the front. Morgan now tucks in behind. Now watch this, they come to this corner, Morgan gets his momentum killed here, and both of them go big over that big side-by-side double. No advantage to Morgan. Gula's able to hang on.
TJ Gula with the lead, and remember, Morgan really doesn't like to be out of the lead.
He doesn't like that for a couple of reasons. One, watch right here what Gula does. He comes out of this turn without Morgan being terribly close. He's able to run his own line. But you see some of the spray coming up. But Morgan's behind. He relies so much on his visibility that any slop in the air ball takes away his ability to spot those little trick lines. And therefore, he is not as quick as he is running in the clean.
Yeah, Blair Morgan's vision and reaction so good when he's running in the clear. He can find exactly the point on the circuit that he wants. But then when he gets behind somebody, it's a little more difficult, and that advantage goes away, as it does here, with 44, TJ Gula now beginning to run away from Blair Morgan.
Gula is absolutely on form. Let's take nothing away from what he's able to do, and it's helping him that you'll watch number 100, Morgan's teammate Earl Reimer, has taken a couple of runs at him, and that is, of course, affecting Blair's concentration. He's got to worry a little bit about Reimer here, while Gula makes good his escape. Right here, though, Blair has cleared Reimer. He starts to come back.
But TJ Gula continues to handle up Blair Morgan.
Morgan's taking a run at Gula right here. Now watch what Gula does. Brilliant move. He slips left, takes that line away from Blair, and at the same time, throws a little roost up into Blair's face, and that is how you counter Blair Morgan.
So So the young rookie, T.J. Gula, working the master, Blair Morgan, very, very well here. And Earl Reimer trying to stay into the fight, and that's not helping Blair either. He's got somebody behind him working on him, and he's trying to work just ahead. That is not the Morgan style.
Well, that's the thing. If you try a move, as you take the checker there, Gula, great run. If you take a move and it doesn't work, it kills your momentum, and the guy behind you could be all over you.
So those are the highlights at the conclusion of qualifying. We're ready for the Pro Open last chance qualifier as we show you the points after Crandon in this incredibly close battle. So here we go. Pro Open, LCQ.
Once again, keep in mind, it's the top 4 finishers only that go to the back row of the final. Everybody else has done it. We saw in that points battle. You need to be here. There's the green. Sleds got off the line incredibly well, and again, Paul, another rider falls afoul of that big finish double.
Got to be something over there on the left-hand side of the circuit that's just not helping the competitors. If they get caught in it, we've now seen 3 different racers fall off the left side of the course on the start.
Yeah, that's number 31, Nick Hutchinson, who has had his separate problem on the opening lap. It was number 4, Greg Hyde on the Polaris, that slipped into the infield over that big jump. But Aaron Scheel, he's leading at the end of that opening lap, a very solid start.
Aaron Scheel gets a good run, but almost immediately he is under attack by Dennis Ekstrom. Ekstrom coming from second place and beginning to work on Aaron Scheel. Moves to the inside, moves past Scheel for the moment, and is able to hold on to it. Now here comes Aaron Scheel back.
Here comes Aaron Scheel. Behind him is 28 Tate, then Kuster. But Ekstrom took advantage of a momentary bobble from Aaron Scheel, cost him a little momentum, and Ekstrom went through. And remember that point scenario. Ekstrom close on Blair Morgan's heels. He cannot afford to not make this final. And amazingly, Chris Vincent in another LCQ.
Chris Vincent working on Carl Kuster, trying to catch him. Amazing. Vincent's year has just been something that he would not expect, we would not expect, as he struggles to stay in the competition.
Well, he won the Pro Open final at the Loop, and then things have been a bit of a struggle for him, as you mentioned. And chasing him pretty hard right now is number 5, that's Diamond Dave Brown, Nathan Titus's replacement for the factory Yamaha team. So Vincent, as we talked about earlier, has got to worry about an attack from behind and really can't focus too much on Kuster right now.
Dennis Ekstrom now begins to pull away from the rest of this field. Top 4 will transfer to the final in Pro Open.
Nice move there as Vincent snuck underneath Kuster, finally is able to shake it and move up. So that puts him into a transfer spot right now, Paul.
Boy, did you see the power, too, when Chris Vincent was able to just lay into the revs on the sled and accelerate away. Last chance qualifier action continues. Leading it right now is Dennis Ekstrom. We'll be back with more of the LCQ after this. Back at Vernon Downs, the last chance qualifier, the closing laps for Pro Open.
Chris Vincent has caught Justin Tate. As a matter of fact, Paul, he just got underneath Justin Tate. He aired it out a little bit higher and faster over that big finish double, and it got him down the inside of Tate.
So now it's Ekstrom, Scheel, Chris Vincent, and Tate. The top 4. 4 will move on to the Pro Open final.
Vincent had really no choice because Kuster had come back and was pressuring him. He needed to get by Tate, give himself that one sled buffer, sitting in third. That's a lot more comfortable.
White flag comes out with a yellow flag, an abandoned set of sleds right in the middle of the front stretch.
Number 5, Dave Brown, apparently a major problem there, and that was number 24, Ray Schlegel. His Arctic Cat coming to mechanical problems that the track he's done.
Chris Vincent still under attack. Boy, look at this fine-looking battle.
This is a world-class final in any other series right here, and it's a last-chance qualifier. And Vincent's starting to put the heat on a little bit here on Aaron Scheel as the checker comes out.
Checker comes out. Dennis Ekstrom takes it. No challenge there. The fight is between Chris Vincent and Aaron Scheel. Of course, Aaron Scheel finishes in second. Chris Vincent comes across in third, followed by Justin Tate. And those are the four that will move to the final in Pro Open. Ekstrom, Scheel, Vincent. Welcome back to Vernon Downs, the Yamaha Eastern National WSA Worldwide Snocross. We're ready for the Pro Open Final. You take a look at everyone on the line. Can Blair Morgan continue to hold on? Can he get the hole shot? Because if he does, generally it's adios Blair.
Of course, he's got TJ Gula, who's on form. Todd Wolff has been amazing. Tony Heikkinen as well. There's the green. And Ken Ibsen nailed the hole shot. And Kurt Crapo, Paul, has come up, and he comes up holding his hand.
Yeah, Crapo takes it off the right side. They've got conflict all over the place here.
That was Crapo's teammate on the red Polaris, Trevor John, getting into it with 32. Tim Mackey on the Yamaha. Both of them got slowed down. Mackey ended up on the infield again.
But it's Blair Morgan that was able to pull out in front in the first corner. Blair Morgan is now the leader. Running in second place is Ken Ibsen. Sitting in third now is Tony Heikkinen.
Go back and take another look at the start, and you can see pretty even off the line. Morgan now starts to check up. There goes Crapo, and it looked like he just hooked a bail or something, and it snapped the sled to the right, and it surprised him. He got up, you can see he tweaked his arm just a little bit. And then on the other side of things, up and over that big jump again, watch for it. There's Mackey, boom, right there. 85 Trevor John had a problem on the landing. Mackey got into him as Trevor John's riding the Bronco trying to hang on. Mackey had to take a base of it, ended up heading down into the infield.
And he's saying, whoa, what was that all about? What it's all about up front is Blair Morgan, 7C, pulling away the position that he absolutely loves.
Out front and going away. And the thing for Blair is when he gets beat in one race, he can't stand it. He absolutely gnaws at him. And he generally comes back awful strong. And right there, Chris Vincent from the LCQ just made a great pass on his teammate, moved into the top four.
Chris Vincent first battling with Todd Wolff, and then coming up, moving into the top four now. Just ahead of him is Tony Heikkinen.
There's Morgan, huge arrow over that big finish jump. Then Ibsen. Here's Heikkinen getting a little crossed up. Vincent and Wolff. And a remarkable opening couple of laps, Paul, for Vincent to come from that back row up into the top four that fast. He is hooked.
Chris Vincent now begins to work hard on the 06 of Tony Heikkinen. He's right there with him. For that matter, the rest of the field is pretty close as well.
Remember, already this weekend, they've had their battles, a couple of coming together, and in each case, it was Vincent who ended up paying the price for it. You know, Chris would like nothing better than to get by Tony and show him
For a second there, Vincent got bogged down and let Tony Heikkinen pull away, but already Chris Vincent is back on the charge, working on Heikkinen.
Applying a lot of pressure. Tony Heikkinen running the Arctic Cat this year, it's very much an independent effort. A small trailer, no big rig like we saw in Insight Cross. Whole different program. But for some reason, Tony seems reborn. He really seems to be enjoying racing, and it's a lot more personal for him now. I think he's having more fun than he's had the past couple of years.
Well, the Finn living in the United States now, so he's not traveling nearly as far to be able to get event to event. And he continues his fight with Chris Vincent. Vincent, the 46, the yellow sled.
And that's number 9, Kurt Crapo off again. And again, you can see he's favoring that hand a little bit. I'm not sure he's having a very good time of being able to hold on to that sled right now, Paul.
Yeah, if he's smart, this might be a good time to decide to pull it off, because obviously he's got himself a problem, and he can only make it worse at this point.
You saw Vincent's battle as we come to the halfway point with Heikkinen is slowing them both down, and Wolff and the rest of the pack behind closing up.
So Blair Morgan is still out in front. This is the key battle on the course at the halfway point. It's now a three-way battle as Todd Wolff comes in behind Chris Vincent. We'll be right back. No change just since we left you, Blair Morgan is out in front being chased by Kent Ibsen. The battle is back with Chris Vincent and Tony Heikkinen, and in fact, Todd Wolf is in there too.
It has been an intense swapping of positions, and you saw Vincent and Heikkinen getting together again right before we went to break. That's the intensity they've been showing all day, let alone in this race. And Tony Heikkinen riding incredibly hard, but Vincent being pressured by his teammate Wolf on that black skidoo is again applying a lot of pressure to the Flying Finn.
I'll tell you what, no love lost there. They're always into one another. There goes Heikkinen in the air. Vincent does the same, so does Todd Wolf.
Well, we've seen that if you take that big air jump, once the track roughs up, it gives you much better entry speed into that last turn. And if you don't, you're going to get passed. So there are no options. You've got to run that line. However, as you see going into that first turn, Paul, a lot of different strategies being employed. Heikkinen going way wide, Vincent cutting in very tight underneath.
The wide line works for Tony Heikkinen. He comes off the second element of that, what in essence is a hairpin, with Chris Vincent behind him, but again through here, Chris Vincent is able to close. Todd Wolf still, Earl Reimer takes a big bump off the sled. He's okay, gets right up.
Watch what happened over that big finish line double. He got it crossed up. He realized he was not going to be able to save that. Did the step off. Fortunately for him, that snow very deep and powdery, and he stepped off into a nice fluffy pile, but the sled took a beating.
Okay, the sled's not going where I want it. I'll go where I want. We'll let the sled go the other way. Back to that battle. Tony Heikkinen still under pressure from Chris Vincent.
Look at the different styles there. And Heikkinen landed short. He came up a little short, and by the time he saved it, Vincent was by.
And that may be just enough to make the difference as Chris Vincent goes to the finish line jump ahead of Tony Heikkinen for the first time in this run. And Wolf now begins to work on Heikkinen.
Yeah, Wolf pops to the outside trying Heikkinen's line. However, Tony got to exit at turn one first, so he's going to hang on. But it's now Vincent up into third, Heikkinen and Wolf rounding up the top five.
The lead is still Blair Morgan, followed by Ibsen. Here is the fight. There's Blair like, goodbye, how's everybody doing? He loves it out in front, he's just disappearing.
You can see the flagman indicating stay to the inside, let him go by. Nice job there by Earl Reimer. Big story developing as Dennis Ekstromfall is outside of the top five. He is second to Morgan coming into this race in points. Morgan is going to widen that margin substantially, and he's given a little bit of show already.
Showing off as he heads for the checkered flag. Blair Morgan not under challenge by second place Kent Ibsen. And Morgan takes the victory, showing off continually for the crowd. Now we look to the checkers. Ibsen coming across in second place. And Chris Vincent, Tony Heikkinen, and Todd Wolf will all come to the line together, with Vincent finishing in third, followed by Heikkinen, and then Wolf. So here are the unofficial results here at Vernon Downs, with Blair Morgan taking the victory. Let's go to Fred.
Blair, Pro Open, a whole different story, and they love you here.
Yeah, it's great. These guys are so loud. Yeah, it's really crazy. You guys are awesome fans, and yeah, it's nice to win for them out here.
After the problem in Pro Stock, what do you have to do to put that behind you, focus on that Pro Open final?
Yeah, I just had, I had a little bit of a mechanical trouble in a 440 race, and I just wanted to come out here and show everybody that I can win today. And the Open was running great, and I had no problems whatsoever. So I just needed a healthy machine and a healthy me, and we'll just put it together.
After missing the final at Duluth in the opening round, we're just starting the second half of the season. We're in the points league. Not a bad comeback.
No, it's great. I think I've won every final now in Open that I've actually entered. So yeah, it helps a lot. And I've always going for those qualifying races. I want to finish up there because I want to win these championships.
So I think you like racing here in New York, don't you?
Yeah, these guys in New York are loud, and it's great. I can just tell. They're so loud. I can barely hear you.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
When Chris Vincent comes home to the East Coast, it gets noisy, boy. And you had to do it the hard way today.
Yeah, you know, it was really hard. You know, I had to go to last chance, and it's always tough when you go to last chance. But on the other side of it, too, you get to go out and check out the track just before you run the final, and that really helped me out there. You know, I knew what lines I wanted to take before I even went around the track. That really helped out. And, you know, the Skidoo ran so good, and all the sponsors doing such a good job. All of our sponsors have their own area of the team. They do such a great job with it, and that's what makes it so easy for us to come out here and race.
And that opening lap of yours was something special. I mean, from the back row, you were like fifth by the end of that lap.
Yeah, I was really happy with that, and I was really happy to see how easy it was to get through the pack. You know, I was really surprised that the sled was going through the bump so well. You know, Ride FX did such a great job, and it was easy for me. It really was, you know, and it's nice when it's like that. It's really nice when it's that easy, and it was fun out here racing with all these guys like it is every weekend.
And the hometown crowd doesn't hurt either, does it?
No, I mean, the hometown crowd, these guys are just awesome. Look at them. Aren't they awesome? Yeah. It's great to be home here. It's great to be in front of these guys.
Nice podium. Way to go.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Chris Vincent knows how to play this enormous crowd here. Pro stock points, Blair Morgan just begins to tiptoe away from Dennis Ekstrom and Tony Heikkinen. And the Pro Open points, it's pretty much the same lineup with Blair Morgan walking away very slowly from Dennis Ekstrom.
Well, Morgan has now put together his fourth straight win in Pro Open after not even making the final in the opener, and that's allowed him to close that up. And, of course, he's been on form in Pro Stock fairly frequently this year as well.
So congratulations to our winners here today. Now the tour loads up and heads across the border into Canada, up through Montreal, and about 80 miles out of Montreal to Valcourt by the city of Sherbrooke. And whenever we race at Valcourt, it is a very interesting day because that is the home of Skidoo. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. When you're the fastest draw on the circuit, the king of the hole shot, the other guys come gunning for you. But when your name is Blair Morgan, the confrontation only fuels your desire to win. Currently at the top of the Pro Stock standings, Blair sports an impressive 256 points. His fans even bear their flag, paying tribute to the Snocross Masters. Blair Morgan's heel-clicking magic continues today as the WSA Snocross Tour takes us north of the border to the city of Valcourt in Quebec. Pro snowmobile racing, French-Canadian style, right here on ESPN Speed World. Today, WSA Worldwide Snocross comes from Valcourt, Canada. The Grand Prix de Valcourt, here at the home of Skidoo snowmobile racing and an area of Quebec that they love their snowmobiles. Malenko Valcourt weather report, it's 5 degrees out, light winds, and the chance of snow on top of already what is a great deal of snow.
It's a turning point for this young superstar. The very next race in Syracuse, New York, TJ Gould in the Pro Open final got a whole shot, ran down and passed Blair Morgan, and ended up taking his first pro win. And TJ Gould has proven he is for real. And it all started with bronze at Winter X, but the gold in terms of point a week later, he's on a roll.
TJ Gould clearly said that the bronze at Winter X demonstrated to him that he can, in fact, race with the best and win. TJ Gould.
I rode a good, strong race. I trained hard the week before, and I didn't get tired, and I think that was a big factor in that race is not to get tired, and I rode strong the whole race. you got to be hungry for more wins now that you got that first one. Yeah, definitely that taste of victory gave me some hunger inside. I try harder and harder every weekend, and I'm definitely getting faster every weekend.
It's got to be nice, too, to be teamed up with guys like Chris Vincent and Todd Wolf. Unbelievable experience and talent.
Oh, yeah, it's great, you know, because I'm new to the snowcross. I've only been doing it for 3 years, and I still can't read the tracks like they can, you know, the guys that have been doing it for 15 years or so. So they help me out a lot, and it's good. I like it.
You know, I'm so happy for TJ, and the kid's a great kid, great family. He lives in my hometown, and we spend a lot of time together in the summers. And it's really been fun to see him progress the way he has. And TJ's a great kid. I'm looking forward to seeing him finish in front a few more times this year.
Now, the Pro Open qualifying was really a battle between TJ Gula and Blair Morgan. We take you back to one of those rounds now to show you how these two have continued to hammer at one another, not only here, but since the race in Syracuse.
Well, as you see Gula going around the outside trying that line, Morgan got the hole shot, went tight to the inside, but Gula now dives down hard underneath and got out of that turn very strong and goes right back in front. Morgan has got to be a little tired of seeing that 44.
They are two interesting individuals. When you see Blair Morgan, he is tall, he is thin, but he certainly doesn't carry the obvious musculature that you would expect from someone who throws a snowmobile sled right and left on the course constantly. The same is certainly true of TJ Gula. A young fellow, a very youngish look, as you saw moments ago. Again, he's long and wide, and both he and Morgan seem to have similar styles with regard to their approach to the course. The downside for Morgan has always been that if he is running in second, he does not perform nearly as well as he does when he's at the front.
He does not like being back in the pack where his visibility is obscured. He relies on sighting those lines so much. And once he does get behind somebody, and you see here in the qualifying, it's cold and the snow dust up in the air, and it gets in his way. It just hangs there, and he can't counter it. He tried to make the move there, but Gula covered it on the exit. And TJ's getting pretty smart. One of the things he does now, drifts right across in front of Blair, throws up some of that roof. You can see Blair now trying to, again, get out of that line. But Gula, good exit speed. And now, at this part of this one, they were absolutely side by side in the essence. And look at this now. Morgan, that outside line, we talked about that, Paul. Little wider line, better exit speed. That time it worked for Blair.
But the amazing thing is that, again, we're talking to TJ Gula, a guy who is a rookie to the pro ranks. And he is running with the absolute best there is in the person of Blair Morgan.
And he has run him and beaten him, as you call, a week ago at Syracuse, and so he knows it can be done. In this case now, Blair's starting to open it up a little bit, and you don't keep Blair Morgan down for long, ever. But TJ Gula, even though Blair is opening up a little bit right now, TJ knows he can run with him, and that's that confidence builder. When you've got confidence, your riding can take on a whole new level, and that's where TJ is right now.
And how many racers have we seen just that reaction with? Well, once you know that you can win, it almost becomes so familiar that you always win. In this case, though, during the qualifying, it was Blair Morgan that would lead TJ Gula around on the final circuits and toward the finish line. But it also was a predictor of what we might come to expect during the rest of the racing here at Valcourt. Blair Morgan took the qualifying win with that rather ominous yellow sled of TJ Gula right behind him. That was the highlight of the qualifying. This ESPN Speed World event is brought to you by Featherlight Trailers, the official trailer of the World Snowmobile Association. Welcome back to the Grand Prix de Valcourt in Valcourt, Canada, about 80 miles east of Montreal. WSA Snocross Racing. Here's Greg.
It's rare when an athlete revolutionizes the sport, but Blair Morgan not only has achieved that feat, he did it in his first full season as a snowmobile racer 2 years ago. Since then, he's seen 5 of 6 national class championship titles and has created the most familiar call in racing.
Morgan takes the flag. He wins it.
Blair is very talented and a really smart racer.
Morgan squares, takes away Chris's skis, wins it.
Blair Morgan Morgan takes the look back. Tony Heikkinen comes to the inside, comes around Blair Morgan. And then Morgan takes it right back.
Oh! Unbelievable. A heel clicker with that kind of a vertical drop. Now that's impressive.
And now down to the inside. They're side by side. Vincent working that other line very well. And he's half, but here comes Morgan back. And Morgan off into Vincent.
Last year is an awesome year. I don't think I could get any better than last year. So hopefully I can repeat it this year. It feels good being number one, and I'm just comfortable doing it. I've been doing it for quite a while now, and it used to be a lot of pressure on me. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, and now I just have fun, and I think that's the most important.
Morgan's attempts to hex Tucker Hibbert might be wise indeed, for he knows things will likely get far more serious with Tucker soon enough.
I'm just waiting for Tucker Hibbert to come into the pro ranks. I asked him last weekend, and I can't wait till he gets up here so I have someone to race with.
They enjoy a great relationship with Prodigy and Zero. Both will welcome to that competition.
Oh, we're ready for the Pro Open final. Dennis Ekstrom's second in the points. Definitely a guy to watch here. We're also going to introduce you to a couple of French Canadians in the person of 7Q, Steve Girard, and 41X, Carl Albert.
Both very talented racers. They specialize in racing on the Canadian circuit, but both have been very fast in Pro Open qualifying. They're going to be a factor in this race.
And then, of course, there is our regular group of contenders, led by the points leader, Blair Morgan. No question that he is always the guy to watch, especially if he can get that hole shot. And he's maintained that almost every race this year, with the possible exception of that ignoble start that he had at Winter X Games.
Keep in mind, too, you can never count out Trevor John on the Polaris, one of the factory riders. He's going to be a factor. His teammate is number 4, Greg Hyde. They have been so close, both of them, and yet they have not been able to crack that top line. They want to get there. Of course, TJ Gula, his story is simply better one.
TJ Gula, the young rookie who has done so very well and really caught fire at the midpoint in the season. So we're ready. Pro Open is on the line. Go to the starter now as all of the sleds are in position. Here we go.
Boy, TJ got a great hole shot down to the inside. However, he's got company on the outside. You saw that look over the shoulder. That ought to tell you that's Morgan. And Morgan manages to get to the lead. Never a good sign for anybody else in this type of race. Morgan, when he gets to the front, that's crucial. Look at the snow dust hanging in the air, Paul. It is unbelievable with the cold temperatures. That dust gets up there and it just sits and floats.
Blair Morgan gets clear early. TJ Gula falls into second place, and the battle begins back second, third, and fourth.
That was a beautiful attempted pass by 28 on the Amsoil Skidoo. Justin Tate trying to cut back underneath Gula. Gula covered it, but Justin looking to race very creative in that mix as well as number 4, Greg Hyde, and 41, the Quebec driver, Carl Lalard.
At the front it is Blair Morgan. Here is the battle. And boy, it's a good one. Greg Hyde makes a move, tries to come to the inside, picks up the spot.
And there is TJ. Oh, TJ Gula.
So simply yet so quickly off the side. The rest of the field comes by, then they get bottled up. TJ tries to come back up to speed.
Looks like he went to throttle a little bit early, and the back end started to come around one part of that berm, and it just flipped him off gently off the outside. He only lost a couple of spots, more importantly, a ton of ground with Blair Morgan.
And the advantage in this case went to Tony Heikkinen, who is now charging down the inside on the 0-6. Look at Heikkinen. Boy, he is not going to be denied here.
Heikkinen applying an awful lot of pressure to 28 Tate. He used a very tight inside line, and it gets to those doubles first. So Heikkinen now has moved up a spot. There's Tate into the Parts Canada corner, and Carl Lalard coming up and racing Gula very hard.
Blair Morgan now has an unassailable lead in this thing. Once that battle with TJ Gula went away, Blair Morgan was just on
notice there, though, Tony Heikkinen, once he got by Tate now, is starting to draw away. He's got a big 10-length lead over Tate. And now Tony, he's far enough behind Morgan that he's not getting a roost in his face. He's got some good clear track. And look at 41 Alar. He got by Gula. Well, he did momentarily actually hit Tate, and that cost him momentum.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with Alar. He's very definitely in this fight. Now taking Gula down, and they both get nailed. And Alar is able to take advantage of that. So the Pro Open is looking hot here. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to Valcourt. Nothing has changed since we left you. Blair Morgan is leading this thing. The Pro Open going away. But here's a great... Oh, no! Can't help to tell you what a great fight TJ Gula had going. And he turned that fight into a major spill. Now the rest of the field comes around.
He and Alar were absolutely side by side, and I think they may have touched skis, and it just forced TJ's skis to dig in and pitch him off the sled. This time, not so lucky, he lost a lot of ground, and Alar moves into a comfortable position. Now, let's take a look at the replay here. They're into that final corner, the Parts Canada corner, and TJ, oh, this is the first off, and TJ can see he got it crossed up the track, bit into that berm, and it just tipped him up sideways, and he was already standing in the seat pole to get the gas down and get out of that corner to flip them off. Now his second off is over the thing up. There they are. You can see right there they just bump, and it rotates TJ's sled downward a little bit more suddenly than he was expecting. He just couldn't hold on to it.
And I'll tell you, you've got to be impressed, though, with the performance of Kyle Alar on 41X, who was battling with TJ Gula at the time.
Speaking of impressive, that is Tony Heikkinen, and he has reeled in Blair Morgan. Heikkinen has been driving some unbelievably fast lines.
And look at the separation first and second as from third place Alar as we reach the halfway point here at Valcourt in Pro Open.
Right now, Blair Morgan is feeling pressure, and he had a big lead. We haven't really seen this year, Paul. Somebody coming from a long ways back while Morgan's leading and able to close up this much and run him down. Whether he catches him, we don't know, but he is certainly giving it his all.
You know, it seems to me that the very likable Tony Heikkinen has suddenly recognized that despite the fact he may not have the biggest factory-supported effort this season, he is still more than capable of keeping his sled up at the front, if not in front of the field. And once he seemed to be satisfied with that knowledge, he's run very well. Big bottleneck up in the hairpin.
That's 28 Tate on the Open LCQ, 85 Trevor John on that red factory Polaris. A couple of other skidoos involved, and that just bottlenecks everybody behind, costs them time, and everybody in front, of course, gets even more ground. But the story, as you're talking about, is Heikkinen. And while he may not have the big program, he still has the skill, and I think he's got the motivation back, and he's showing it. This chase of Morgan is awesome.
So Tony Heikkinen on 0-6 chases this man, 7-seed Blair Morgan, who has had it his way most of this year, and certainly is the current points leader, not only here in Pro Open, but also in Pro Stock.
Look at the different lines. Morgan down tight, Heikkinen way up on that berm, trying to ramp around the outside, looking for any extra momentum and speed he can muster. So far, it's still Morgan, but Heikkinen is doing a great job of exploring some lines, trying to make something work.
Here comes Tony Heikkinen off the corner, still in pursuit of Blair Morgan. Meantime, back behind this battle, things are changing just a bit.
Absolutely. Number 41, Carl Alar, still having a good run, but 27, another of the Quebec hot shoes, Serge Adet, has come from the LCQ, Paul, and is knocking on the door of the top 5. It's been an unbelievable ride for Adet.
So Serge Adet coming up into the front of the field while we continue to watch the battle at the front. Blair Morgan and Tony Heikkinen.
Morgan and Heikkinen coming through those corners. Oh, there was a yellow flag, and Morgan came down and almost bounced off Heikkinen, and that cost him a lot of momentum, and Tony now is there.
Well, Tony Heikkinen, as they cross the line again, makes his move. This may be the one that makes the difference. He's hard on the brakes coming down into the corner, and can he best Blair Morgan? They're side by side. It's a drag race at this moment, and he's got Morgan for the moment, but off of the corner. Now he does, as he blocks Morgan off the corner.
He took the lead, and then he got it crossed up on some stop. Unfortunately for Morgan, his ski got into Tony's track, and he couldn't go anywhere. White flag, and Tony Heikkinen is your leader. Unbelievable.
Tony Heikkinen with just a little less than a full lap to go.
He's off. Heikkinen has come off.
Heikkinen just suddenly off course, and it gives it back to Blair Morgan. What a surprise. He had this thing all but paid for. And then on the final lap, he has a quick off. Blair Morgan takes the win.
Look at that. Serge Audet, Paul, unreal story. Comes home second, and Ekstrom comes up the third. Huge changes in the last couple laps.
So Tony Heikkinen has it snatched away at just the last second on the final lap. So it's Morgan, Audet, and Ekstrom. 1, 2, and 3. Here's Greg Kramer.
Really a tough track here this weekend. It's really cold out, so there's a lot of dust in your face, and yeah, it's pretty one line too. So yeah, I had to get him back, and yeah, I had to do a little bit of an aggressive pass, but that's what you have to do to win here today.
Well, the heavy snow is paying off with some great racing here at Valcourt when we come back inside Cross. Welcome back to Valcourt, Quebec, Canada. WSA Snocross. The action continues on a perfect day. But first, let's take you to Inside Cross, Inside the Sport, brought to you by Energy Release. Just get the real stuff.
We're well into the final part of the season now for the Snocross Worldwide Championship, and at this time of year, a lot of times teams have shopping lists because they're running a little low on equipment. Some of the parts have been brutalized. Well, guess what? The riders get brutalized too. They have their own shopping list.
I got my hand landed on. I bumped my head so many times I can't remember how many injuries I had.
Had a major concussion this year.
Shopping list of injuries. Actually, it's been pretty good this year.
I got lots of bumps and bruises at shins, knees, and arms and backs, and occasional head if somebody lands on you.
Well, we're snowcrossers. Everything's hurt from head to toe, isn't it?
I have absolutely no injuries. I'm 100%. Just a couple bruises here and there on like the inside of the legs.
An injured thumb from a previous break. When I crash, I get bruises on my behind or sore throat.
No.
My shopping list of injuries.
Yeah, I have cough. Last weekend, I got landed on again, right in my back.
Chest pain?
None.
I got a little bit of a sore elbow.
Maybe some battered internals.
No, cool. I've been doing good, actually.
Somebody stabbed it or something.
Chest and shoulders always been sore this year.
Just a couple bruises here and there on like the inside of the legs.
Left hand, very badly bruised, swollen.
I'm a little bit hungry though.
I crashed lots, but never get hurt. And now I probably will today after saying that.
All season long, we've been talking about some of the changes that some of the teams have been making, not just in terms of equipment, but in terms of riders. And for the Amsoil Shearing Speed Sport team, Steve, as team owner, you've picked yourself up a couple of young shoes, and so far this year, that looks to have been a pretty wise choice.
These boys are the coolest. I wouldn't trade them for all the money in the world right now.
Let's go!
Everything's been going great for us this year, and it's like friendship between all of us, and we all get along good, and we've been successful this year throughout the race season, so it's been fun.
been friends for a while now, and with Steve has been our manager, getting along with him, it's just a big friendship, I guess, and it just works great.
DJ Ekstrom, number 25, Team Amsoil.
Justin Tate, number 28, with the Shearing Speed Sports Amsoil team.
Steve Shearing, number 2001, Amsoil Shearing Speed Sports.
That's got to be worth 10, 15 miles an hour.
Most notable is Rush City, Minnesota's Johnny Mold. On his number 280 Skidoo, Mold has been the lone pilot this year, capable of consistently racing Hibbert hard, keeping him honest. After a frustrating season last year, a switch of brands to Skidoo, as number 111, Chisago City, Minnesota's Kurt Peterson, back in far more familiar territory, tearing things up in front of the ultra-competitive semi-pro division. While Eagle River, Wisconsin is famous for oval snowmobile racing, it has produced one of the fastest snowcrossers and one of the bravest pilots of the semi-pro front line.
Welcome back to the Grand Prix de Valcourt, Canada. We promised that we'd introduce you to Tucker Hibbert and some of his friends in the semi-pros. We will do that now as we're ready for a semi-pro stock.
On the line, there's the green. And that's Penlick, who qualified third. Broke the ski with one of the guys he's racing against, Paul, and it just dumped him over. But 111, Kurt Peterson got a huge hole shot, and Kurt leads. That's Tucker slotting in second. Johnny Mold right now, who you bet inside cross, right there running his best.
So Tucker Hibbert and Peterson. Peterson out front. There comes Hibbert on the green machine over the left side of the screen. Different set of lines through this split section of the race course.
Those offset doubles, and Peterson, it was the quicker line. You can see Tucker, once he got into that final Parts Canada turn, squared up underneath and got a good run at him. And he's now starting to close in on Peterson. I think he's got him.
Oh, Tucker Hibbert slams it down to the inside and takes the lead away from Peterson, but Peterson comes right back at him. Still, he can't get off that corner with enough vigor, and Hibbert continues his lead.
Hibbert looks back, and Peterson surprised him. I don't think Tucker realized Peterson was quite that close, and he had to get on it big time to stay in front. And Peterson running him very, very hard right now.
Peterson runs him down by taking exactly the same line that Tucker Hibbert did. He continues to line up just behind Hibbert. Now he dials a little bit to the inside, but still they come off the corner the same.
You saw right there, Tucker's line out of that turn gave him a lot more exit speed. That's where he made up a lot of ground on Peterson. Peterson's sled pushed quite badly. And now there's Johnny Mold, who has come up. Johnny was the top qualifier, and he has just now taken second away from Peterson with a very aggressive move. And there's Tucker showing off a little bit.
Mold comes up, slams into the side of Peterson, takes second place away. Tucker Hibbert now looking very much like his other nemesis, Blair Morgan, as he runs away from the field, and Tucker Hibbert takes the semi-pro stock final. Tucker Hibbert, keep an eye on this guy, because he very definitely is going to be one to watch when he goes to the full pros. Now, followed to the line by Mold and Peterson. We'll be back with more after this. Back at Valcourt, the final lap of the last chance qualifier in Pro Stock. Again, has the lead right now, followed by Curtis Crapo.
That's number 40, Ken Ipsen, who currently sits in third. And behind him is a great battle between 41X Carl Alara, 47C Carl Kuster. And right now, as a matter of fact, Alara Paul is taking a run at Ipsen.
Remember, the top four will move on to the final round. We're working on this, the final lap.
I think Alara would like to get by Ipsen, give him that little bit of a buffer, but in his charge to catch Ipsen, he's actually opened up a pretty good lead over Kuster. He'll be okay. just has to hang on through one more corner.
And look how tight they are, though, as they come to that corner. And crossing the line first is Audette. Serge Audette will take the win here. Also moving on will be Curtis Crapo, Kent Ibsen, and Carl Allar. Those are the transfers to the Pro Stock Final out of the LCQ. Now we want to tell you the story of Carl Savitsky. Carl had more than his share of trouble as he came up to race at Valcourt. When he arrived here, he was missing a whole bunch of equipment.
I got all my gear stolen, all my goggles, everything, CDs, TV, VCR, including all my sleds, tools. We had tons of parts in there. Got the truck back Thursday night, which was a blessing because we were trying to figure out how to get home, but still, it's kind of irritates me a little bit. I had my parents, send me some gear for this weekend. I borrowed some gear from WSA, and Skidoo luckily came through and gave me a sled and stuff like that, so it basically all worked out in the end.
Valcourt is the home of Skidoo. There's always seems to be a great story related with somebody driving a Skidoo. 2 years ago, Yana Tapio was brought over to run in the WSA circuit. However, he had an injury, broke his leg severely, missed it. Last year, he returned this race. Skidoo brought him over, and Yana Tapio responded with an absolutely glorious weekend of racing. He was back.
I just came for this race, Grand Prix de Valcourt. Skidoo people asked me to come here and try to put up some good show.
He had some success racing in his home, Finland, and in the Scandinavian circuit, but nobody knew just how impressive it would be. Let's join the call for Pro 600.
So right now, it's Chris Vincent out in front of Tony Heikkinen. Guess who's in third place?
Yana Tapio, the guy, and he got very squirrely over that big double, but he saved it. But he's been very effective. He's got Titus trying to pass on the inside. Tapio covers. Well, Tapio is taking a bit of a run now at Heikkinen, and that's helping Chris get away a little bit as they're racing each other. And no doubt, Titus is enjoying that too because it's allowed him to close in a bit. This is a friendly but intense rivalry.
Look at this drag race now as they're heading for the corner. Will it be Heikkinen? No, on the outside. Yana takes the pass and makes it stick.
That outside move, he perfected it before, paid off this time. Great comeback for Yana.
Oh, Vincent, our race leader, is off the sled.
Very awkward bobble for Chris going into the first turn. It's a hairpin corner, and he just got it wrong. Something kicked him off. He recovered, but now he's back in fourth.
Yana Tapio has gotten by him for second. There is the checkered flags. Blair with a little showtime, and a great run for Tapio right there as he takes home second place in his return to snowmobile racing here on the WSA Tour.
It was indeed a great return, and of course, he'd been racing in Finland and Scandinavia with some success, but now, with that second place finish, his confidence was up, and that was only the beginning. Let's now go back and listen to the call from last year's Pro Stock Final, one of the big races.
Very even start off the line. Vincent inside right there, but Yana Tapio, beautiful start, and look at that, he's already opened up almost 3 sled lengths. Watch Yana Tapio here, something that's impressing me very much, and we've been going on and on about Blair Morgan and the stand-up style and how that's the way to rule in snowcross. Tapio doesn't use it. He's far more of a traditional sit-down and gas-it rider, but he's proven that can be effective when you execute as flawlessly as he is. What a magnificent return to racing.
White flag is out. We're on the final circuit as Yana Tapio's return continues to be impressive here to 1999 snowcross action. So there is Yana Tapio making his way towards the checkered flag, fist in the air, and yes, he has done it.
A huge win for Yana Tapio to come back from injury with a win like that. You can hear by the yell. This is one very happy race.
I've been racing some small races back at Finland, but I've been doing well. I've won some races and been second, third. So.
Tapio has been very fast in qualifying here. Coming up next, it's the Pro Stock Final from Valcourt. Welcome you back once again to Valcourt, Canada, ready for the Pro Stock Final. There is Blair Morgan. Can he be beat in this competition? It certainly seems unlikely.
Chris Vincent, one of the guys who'd love to do just that. It would certainly help him in points. There are others, though, including this guy.
Justin Tate, who is more than capable. And the rookie, TJ Gula, who has been so strong this season.
Yana Tapio did it last year. Would love to surprise again.
And, of course, Deering's Amsoil team would really love to come home with some victories now running to the final races of the season.
Big story here. Again, Karl Shabitsky on a last-second sled provided by Skidoo. They just threw a setup on it. Here's Aaron Scheel. He loves to ride, ready to go.
And then, of course, there is Tony Heikkinen riding as a privateer, but he's strong this year. And Todd Wolf, very much a competitor in this year 2000 season. Pro Stock final on the line. Final signals being given to the drivers. Everybody's ready. The front row, the four in the second row, in from the LCQ.
Great start. Excellent start by number 28, Justin Tate. He went to the outside, rode the rim shot, Paul, and just blew out into the lead. Behind him is 96 Shabitsky, and we've got a parking lot.
We've got a major parking lot here, and in the middle of all that was Blair Morgan, who did not have his usual high roll and start. He did not get away first, and that changed the whole complexion of the racing.
Already it has, and we have seen that Morgan, when he's buried in the pack, that's when he becomes human. He becomes an average racer at that point when the visibility becomes a problem. Look at Shabitsky exploring some lines, trying to get around your early leader, Justin Tate.
I'm not sure how many of those lines he was exploring, or the sled just took him there. He was dancing back and forth with Karl Shabitsky into second place. Justin Tate, the leader.
That's Chris Vincent right there, who's been pressuring Shabitsky, now getting his own pressure from 25. That's Dennis Ekstrom, and Morgan right there as well. And looks like Ekstrom going to try a little bit different line, try and get by Vincent.
Yeah, but if that line was going to try to get it done, it didn't work all that well for him. Now back to the front.
Oh, Shabitsky, tight to the inside. He's got a straight line in, Paul. He might be able to make that pass stick.
Shabitsky going for the lead. We take a look back in the field of Blair Morgan simply trying to catch up. Look at this, back up the front of Shabitsky. And he holds him off. What a nice move, Karl.
He set that up 2 corners before it, made it work, and then Tate tried to counter pass, couldn't do it. What a remarkable story. Skidoo gave him a sled, his crew just threw a setup on it, and Shabitsky takes it to the lead.
Everything that Karl Shabitsky had was stolen on the way up to this race, so he's on really on a rental car there. I guess you can do magical things with a rental car. So Karl Shabitsky at the moment is the leader as we continue action in Pro Stock. We'll be right back. ESPN Speed World coverage of the WSA Snowmobile Racing is brought to you by Ford Trucks, built Ford Trucks. When we last left you, Karl Shabitsky had just taken the lead. He continues to hold that position now, again, on a sled that he had to borrow because everything that he had was stolen on the way up to this race. But this is proving that he is, in fact, the superior rider. It just may well be.
He's not only on a borrowed sled, his racing clothing is borrowed, his helmet is borrowed. I mean, he was cleaned out, and now he's cleaning up. That is really a remarkable story. As is this one now. Look at that. 3 riders, that's Tate, Ekstrom, and Vincent. And Ekstrom just got by his teammate Justin Tate, and we've been following the points battles, and Ekstrom in both classes is there. That pass could be huge.
Could be very important for him because in both Pro Open and Pro Stock, Ekstrom has been riding in second place in the points behind Blair Morgan. But now Morgan is well down in this field. Just got a glimpse of him there. He did not get the start he wanted, so he's not looking nearly as good.
As a matter of fact, Morgan was running 5th, and Vincent's teammate Todd Wolf caught and passed Morgan and has pushed him down into the 6th position. Right there, you see Morgan now falling backward in 6th, and Vincent is trying everything he can, diving down the inside, trying to get around Tate.
But Tate's not going to have any of it as they come off the corner once again. He's able to outpull Vincent. Vincent got bogged down a little bit on the corner. Now Vincent comes back on the charge. Comes way around. Let's see if he can hold the position. On power at the top end that pays off here, but it may not be in the corner. They slam into one another.
That is some great close racing, side by side, working different lines, counter moves, left and right. Vincent cuts hard to the inside and trying to stay there. And there goes Morgan, got back around Wolf.
So Blair Morgan trying to charge now, make up distance, get back to the front, but can he do it? This is the more important fight at the moment.
Vincent just wedged himself, leading into the Skidoo-S's underneath Tate that time and took the lane away. That's going to make that pass stick. So Vincent now up into the top three.
Vincent is third behind Shabitsky and Ekstrom. And being chased by Tate, you get another view of Blair Morgan there.
2 laps to go. There is Vincent. There's Tate. And then Morgan. And you see how that snow dust is just hanging. It's so cold here. It doesn't come up as a wet spot and drop right away. It just hangs in the air. And that's a... Oh! Right there! Morgan is off!
Morgan dumps the sled. He was moving his way up through the field, but he just suddenly dumps the sled with about a lap and a half to go. So Morgan's chance of taking any big points here has just gone away.
He's trying to cut down underneath Tate, and right here he got blinded by some dust. And you can see, I don't think he ever saw that burn coming up, and he just got thrown off. That snow dust is really affecting Blair's day.
Well, I'd like $1 for every time you've said, Greg Kramer, that Morgan doesn't see well. Once he gets snow dust in his face, and there might be a great example of it. White flag, 1 lap to go, showing to Carl Shabitsky, now to Dennis Ekstrom. Chris Vincent and Justin Tate were running close together last time around. We'll see how that works out.
What a story right now. Should Carl Shabitsky hang on with everything that happened to him? How sweet would that win be? And there you see Shabitsky. There's Ekstrom. Shabitsky actually about to put a lap on Morgan, and there's Vincent a little bit further back now is Tate.
So working on the end of the final lap, one of the best stories we've seen all this year as the checkered flag now comes out for Carl Shabitsky on a borrowed sled with borrowed equipment after having everything that he owned in his racing career stolen on the way up here to Valcourt, Canada. Nevertheless, he comes home as the victor. What a great run for Carl Shabitsky, followed to the flag by Dennis Ekstrom and Chris Vincent, and unfortunately Blair Morgan scores out of the points. Here's Greg Kramer.
My mechanic worked really hard this week in Skidoo themselves too. We didn't really have the suspension set up quite as like I wanted it to, but it turned out great. So, you know, a great sled, and it worked out good.
So congratulations to Carl Shabitsky on his win at the Grand Prix of Valcourt. Here's the updated Pro Stock points after this run at Valcourt, with Blair Morgan still with a little bit of a lead over Dennis Ekstrom.
And we're going to take a look at the Pro Open points as well. Same story, Morgan over Ekstrom. And in each case, by about 20 points. Sounds like a lot, but remember, there's 55 points available in the qualifying and finals. So it's not as big as it sounds.
Another great day of racing at the Grand Prix de Valcourt in Valcourt, Canada. We salute our champion, Blair Morgan, dominating once again in Pro Open with a victory here. And Carl Shabitsky, his trailer stolen just the other day. He begged, borrows his way to a Pro Stock victory. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network.